First contact. The sleek diplomatic shuttle pierced Zephyria's swirling atmosphere, its hull glowing faintly as it descended towards the alien world's surface. Inside, Ambassador Alexandra Reeves, Alex to her friends, gripped the armrests of her seat, her knuckles white with tension. This wasn't her first off-world mission, but it was undoubtedly the most critical of her career. Earth's first contact with the Zephyrians had occurred just 6 months ago, and the initial exchanges had been cautiously optimistic. But recent border skirmishes between human and Zephyrian ships in a contested area of space threatened to derail the fledgling relationship between their species. Alex's mission was clear: negotiate a peace treaty and establish a framework for ongoing cooperation. As the shuttle broke through the cloud cover, Alex caught her first glimpse of the Zephyrian capital. Towering spires of iridescent crystals stretched towards the sky, their surfaces shimmering with an inner light that pulsed in complex patterns. Between the spires, suspended platforms teemed with alien life, creatures of all shapes and sizes going about their daily routines in a three-dimensional urban landscape that defied human architectural norms. "Quite a sight, isn't it?" remarked Captain Jenna Torres, the shuttle's pilot. "Makes our cities look downright primitive in comparison." Alex nodded, not trusting herself to speak. The enormity of her task weighed heavily upon her. How could she hope to bridge the gap between two species so fundamentally different? The shuttle touched down on a landing pad jutting out from one of the tallest spires. As the engines powered down, Alex took a deep breath, centering herself. She had trained for this. She was ready. A delegation of Zephyrians awaited them as they disembarked. Their bodies were vaguely humanoid, but their skin shimmered with a metallic sheen, and their eyes, all 4 of them, were multifaceted like those of insects. The leader of the group stepped forward, its movements fluid and graceful. "Welcome to Zephyria, Ambassador Rees," it said, its voice a melodious trill that Alex's universal translator rendered into English. "I am Sela, First Minister to Her Radiance, Queen Tylara. We are honored by your presence." Alex bowed slightly, careful to maintain eye contact with Sila's upper set of eyes as she had been instructed. "The honor is mine, First Minister. On behalf of Earth and all of humanity, I thank you for your hospitality." Sila's head tilted slightly, a gesture Alex couldn't quite interpret. "Come," it said. "Her radiance awaits you in the celestial chamber." As they made their way through the crystalline corridors of the spire, Alex marveled at the alien architecture. The walls seemed alive, pulsing with light and color that responded to the presence of the Zephyrians. She noticed that the patterns changed subtly as she passed, as if the very building was curious about her. "Your cities are truly remarkable," Alex said to Sola as they walked. "I've never seen anything like them." Sila's lower eyes blinked rapidly, a sign of pleasure according to Alex's cultural briefings. "We're gratified by your appreciation, Ambassador. Our cities are living entities, grown rather than built. They are as much a part of our society as any Zephyrian." Alex filed that information away, sensing its importance. The idea of living cities was fascinating, and she made a mental note to inquire further when the opportunity arose. They arrived at a set of towering doors that shimmered with an opalescent light. Sila placed a hand on a nearby panel, and the doors parted silently, revealing the celestial chamber beyond. Alex's breath caught in her throat. The chamber was a vast, open space that seemed to defy the laws of physics. The floor was transparent, offering a dizzying view of the city far below. The ceiling, if it could be called that, was a swirling vortex of stars and nebulae, as if the room opened directly into space itself. And there, at the center of it all, was Queen Tylara. The Zephyrian monarch was a sight to behold. Taller than her subjects, with 6 limbs instead of 4, her body seemed to shimmer with an inner radiance that outshone even the spectacular room around her. Her eyes, 6 in total, were arrayed in a crown-like pattern around her elongated head, each one a different color of the spectrum. As Alex approached, she felt a wave of something wash over her, It wasn't quite emotion, nor was it purely physical. It was as if the very air around the Queen was charged with an energy that Alex's human senses struggled to comprehend. Alexandra Reeves of Earth, Queen Silara's voice resonated through the chamber, bypassing Alex's ears and seeming to speak directly to her mind. We have long awaited this moment. Alex swallowed hard, fighting to maintain her composure. She had prepared extensively for this meeting, but nothing could have truly readied her for the reality of standing before the Zephyrian Queen. "Your radiance," Alex said, her voice steady despite her inner turmoil. "I bring greetings and hopes for peace from the people of Earth." Silara's body shifted, her upper limbs gesturing in a complex pattern that Alex couldn't begin to interpret. "Peace," the Queen said, the word carrying layers of meaning that the universal translator struggled to convey. "A noble goal, but one that requires understanding. Tell me, Alexandra Reeves, do you believe you understand us?" The question caught Alex off guard. She had expected formal pleasantries, not a philosophical challenge right out of the gate, but she sensed that her answer would set the tone for all that followed. "Your radiance," Alex began carefully. "I believe that understanding is a journey, not a destination. I come here not with the assumption of knowledge, but with an open mind and a willingness to learn. It is my hope that through our dialogue, we can build a foundation of mutual understanding that will lead to lasting peace between our peoples." A ripple of something, surprise, approval, passed through the assembled Zephyrians. Queen Silara's eyes shifted colors, cycling through the spectrum before settling on a deep, royal purple. "Well spoken, Ambassador," the Queen said. "Your words show wisdom beyond what we expected. Perhaps there is hope for our species yet." Alex felt a small surge of triumph, but she knew this was only the beginning. The real challenges lay ahead. Over the next several hours, Alex engaged in a complex dance of diplomacy with Queen Silara and her ministers. They discussed the border dispute, trade possibilities, and cultural exchange programs. Alex was impressed by the Zephyrians' grasp of human politics and society. They had clearly done their homework. As the meeting progressed, Alex found herself increasingly drawn to Queen Silara. The alien monarch's intelligence and charisma were undeniable, and there was something in the way she looked at Alex that made the human diplomat feel seen in a way she never had before. When they took a brief recess, Alex found herself alone with Sila in a small antechamber. The First Minister regarded her with what she thought might be curiosity. "You have made quite an impression," Ambassador Sila said. "Her radiance seems intrigued by you." Alex wasn't sure how to respond to that. "I'm glad to hear it," she said cautiously. "I hope it bodes well for our negotiations." Sila's lower eyes blinked rapidly. "Oh, I believe it does. But I wonder, are you prepared for where this path may lead?" Before Alex could ask what Sila meant, they were called back into the celestial chamber. As she re-entered the vast space, Alex caught Queen Silara's gaze. The Zephyrian monarch's eyes were now a deep, mesmerizing blue, and Alex felt a shiver run down her spine. She had the distinct feeling that she was stepping into something far more complex than a simple peace negotiation. But as she took her place at the negotiating table, Alex steeled herself. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she would face them head-on. The future of human-Zephyrian relations, and perhaps the galaxy itself, depended on it. As the first day of negotiations drew to a close, Alex found herself both exhilarated and exhausted. The complexity of Zephyrian communication, with its layers of verbal, visual, and even telepathic elements, had pushed her to the limits of her diplomatic training. But she felt she had held her own, and the tentative agreements they had reached gave her hope for the days to come. Queen Silara approached her as the other diplomats filed out of the celestial chamber. Up close, the Zephyrian monarch's presence was even more overwhelming. Alex felt as if she was standing next to a living star, barely contained in physical form. "You have surprised us, Alexandra Reeves," the Queen said, her voice a melody that seemed to resonate in Alex's very bones. "We had not expected to find such depth in a human." Alex bowed slightly, careful to maintain eye contact with the Queen's central pair of eyes. "You honor me, your radiance. I hope that I have represented my people well and that we can continue to build understanding between our species." Silora's body shimmered, colors rippling across her metallic skin in patterns that Alex couldn't begin to decipher. "Indeed, we look forward to exploring the possibilities with you." As the Queen glided away, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that there was far more to that statement than simple diplomatic pleasantries. She watched Silora's retreating form, a mix of fascination and apprehension swirling in her gut. "Quite a first day, eh?" Captain Torres appeared at Alex's side, startling her out of her reverie. Alex nodded, still somewhat dazed. "It's not quite what I expected." Torres chuckled. "Welcome to the fun part of space diplomacy, Ambassador. Now, let's get you to your quarters. Something tells me you're going to need all the rest you can get." As they made their way through the living corridors of the Zephyrian Palace, Alex's mind raced. She had come here prepared to negotiate trade agreements and border treaties. But now, looking back on the day's events, she couldn't shake the feeling that she had stepped into something far more personal and potentially far more dangerous. The question was she ready for whatever came next? The dance of two worlds. As the twin moons of Zephyria rose over the crystalline spires of the capital, Ambassador Alexandra Rees found herself in a predicament she never could have imagined during her diplomatic training on Earth. She stood before a floor-length mirror in her quarters, eyeing the shimmering, otherworldly garment that had been provided for the evening's gala. "Well, this is certainly different," Alex muttered to herself, running her hands over the fabric that seemed to shift colors with each movement, like the surface of a soap bubble. A chime at her door startled her from her contemplation. "Come in," she called, expecting her human aid. Instead, First Minister Silla glided into the room, its four eyes blinking in rapid succession. "Ambassador Reeves," Silla trilled, "I trust you find your attire satisfactory. It's been specially crafted to honor both our cultures." Alex smiled diplomatically. "It's beautiful, First Minister. Though I must admit, I'm a bit unsure about the, tentacle attachments." Sila's lower eyes twinkled with what Alex had come to recognize as amusement. Those are ceremonial appendages, symbolizing the embracing of new experiences. Quite fitting for this evening, don't you think?" As Alex fumbled with the alien garment, she couldn't help but reflect on the whirlwind of the past few days. The peace negotiations had taken unexpected turns, with Queen Silora showing a keen interest in human culture, particularly in Alex herself. The Zephyrian monarch's penetrating gazes and cryptic comments had left Alex both intrigued and unsettled. "First Minister," Alex began hesitantly, "I can't help but feel there's more to this gala than simple cultural exchange. Am I missing something important here?" Sila's body shimmered, a sign of deep thought. "Perceptive as always, Ambassador. Tonight is indeed special. Queen Silara has taken an unprecedented step in organizing this event. It's not just a gala, it's a bonding ceremony." Alex's heart skipped a beat. A bonding ceremony? That sounds significant. "Oh, it is," Sila confirmed. "It's a ritual typically reserved for potential mates of the royal family. The fact that you've been invited is, well, let's just say it's causing quite a stir among the court." Alex felt the blood drain from her face. "Potential mates? But I'm here as a diplomat, not a consort." Sila supplied helpfully. "Yes, well, in Zephyrian culture, the two roles are not mutually exclusive. In fact, some of our greatest alliances have been forged through royal marriages." Alex's mind reeled. This was far beyond anything covered in her briefings. "But surely Queen Silara doesn't expect. I'm not even the same species." Sila's upper eyes blinked slowly. "Ambassador, in the vastness of the cosmos, what is a little thing like species when minds and souls align? But come, we mustn't be late. The Queen awaits." As they made their way through the living corridors of the palace, Alex's thoughts raced. She had come to Zephyria to negotiate peace, not to become entangled in alien royal politics. Yet she couldn't deny the fascination she felt toward Queen Silara, the pull of something exotic and thrilling. The grand hall where the gala was being held took Alex's breath away. The ceiling was a swirling nebula of stars and cosmic dust, so realistic that Alex felt she could reach up and touch the galaxies. Zephyrians of all ranks mingled with the few human diplomats, creating a surreal tableau of interspecies socialization. And there, at the center of it all, was Queen Silara. The Zephyrian monarch seemed to glow from within, her 6 eyes a kaleidoscope of colors that shifted with her emotions. As her gaze fell upon Alex, the human diplomat felt a jolt of electricity run through her body. Alexandra of Earth, Silara's voice resonated in Alex's mind, bypassing her ears entirely. You honor us with your presence. Come, let us dance the dance of 2 worlds. Before Alex could process what was happening, she found herself in the center of the hall, surrounded by a circle of watching Zephyrians and humans. Queen Silara extended 4 of her 6 arms, and Alex, moving as if in a trance, stepped into the alien embrace. What followed was unlike anything Alex had ever experienced. It wasn't just a dance, it was a conversation without words, a meeting of minds and bodies that transcended species. As they moved together, Alex felt as if she were floating among the stars, seeing the universe through Silara's multifaceted eyes. Flashes of Zephyrian history, culture, and dreams flowed through Alex's consciousness. She saw the birth of suns, the rise and fall of civilizations, the delicate balance of cosmic forces that the Zephyrians had learned to harness. And through it all, she felt Silara's presence, curious, ancient, and undeniably attracted to the spark of humanity that Alex represented. As the dance reached its crescendo, Alex found herself face to face with the Queen, their bodies intertwined in ways that defied human anatomy. Silara's eyes, now a deep, mesmerizing violet, bored into Alex's soul. Alexandra, Silara's voice echoed in her mind, you have shown us the beauty and potential of humanity. Our worlds stand on the brink of a new era. Will you help us usher it in, as my consort? The music faded, and Alex became aware of the hundreds of eyes, human and Zephyrian alike, fixed upon them. The fate of 2 species seemed to hang in the balance, resting on her answer to a question she never imagined being asked. In that moment, suspended between 2 worlds, Alexandra Rees faced the most important decision of her life. Whatever she chose would alter the course of human-Zephyrian relations forever. As the silence stretched, thick with anticipation, Alex took a deep breath. She opened her mouth to respond, knowing that her next words would echo across the stars, shaping the destiny of 2 civilizations in ways she could scarcely imagine. The fate of humanity and Zephyria hung in the balance, awaiting the answer of one extraordinary woman thrust into an impossible choice. Echoes of stardust. The grand hall of the Zephyrian palace held its breath, a cosmic pause stretching into eternity. Ambassador Alexandra Rees stood at the epicenter of a galactic crossroads, Queen Silara's proposal hanging in the air like stardust. Your radiance, Alex began, her voice steady despite the tempest in her mind. Your offer is as unexpected as it is profound. But I stand here not just as Alexandra Rees, but as a representative of humanity. I cannot give you an answer that affects billions without careful consideration. A ripple of murmurs cascaded through the assembled crowd. Queen Silara's eyes shifted through a spectrum of colors before settling on a deep, mesmerizing indigo. Wisdom in the face of desire, Silara's voice resonated in Alex's mind. You continue to intrigue us, Alexandra of Earth. Very well. We shall give you the arc of reflection to contemplate your decision. As if on cue, the crystalline floor beneath their feet began to shimmer and reform. A pathway of pulsing light materialized, leading away from the grand hall and into the unknown depths of the palace. Follow the arc, Silara instructed. It will guide you through the chambers of cosmic truth. There, you will face trials that will challenge your perceptions of yourself, your species, and your place in the universe. At the end, you will find your answer, not just for us, but for the future of both our worlds. Alex swallowed hard, acutely aware of the weight of history pressing down upon her shoulders. She glanced back at the human delegation, seeing a mix of awe, fear, and anticipation on their faces. Captain Torres gave her a subtle nod of encouragement. Taking a deep breath, Alex stepped onto the glowing path. As she did, the world around her began to dissolve, reality peeling away like layers of an onion. She found herself floating in a void of swirling colors and abstract shapes, the laws of physics seeming to bend and twist around her. "Welcome to the chambers of cosmic truth," a disembodied voice echoed through the void. "Here, you will face 3 trials. Each will test a facet of your being, mind, body, and soul. Are you prepared, Alexandra Rees?" "I am," Alex replied, surprised by the steadiness of her own voice. The void shimmered, and suddenly Alex found herself standing in what appeared to be a vast library. Towering shelves stretched as far as the eye could see, filled with books, scrolls, and data crystals from every corner of the galaxy. "The trial of mind begins," the voice announced. "You must find the knowledge that bridges the gap between Zephyria and Earth. But beware, not all knowledge is meant for mortal minds." Alex set off down the aisles, her fingers trailing along the spines of ancient tomes and futuristic data storage devices. As she touched each one, flashes of information flooded her consciousness: the rise and fall of civilizations, the secrets of faster-than-light travel, the fundamental equations of the universe. She pressed on, her mind expanding with each step, absorbing millennia of cosmic wisdom. But as she delved deeper, she began to feel the strain. Her human brain struggled to contain the vast knowledge of the cosmos, threatening to tear itself apart under the weight of universal truth. Just as she felt she could take no more, Alex's hand fell upon a small, unassuming book. As she opened it, she gasped. Inside were not grand cosmic secrets, but simple truths: love, compassion, the shared struggles and joys that united all sentient beings across the stars. Understanding lies not in the vastness of knowledge, Alex realized aloud, but in the recognition of our shared experiences, no matter how alien we may seem to each other. The library shimmered and faded, leaving Alex once again in the swirling void. "The trial of mind is complete," the voice intoned. "Prepare yourself for the trial of body." The void twisted, reforming into a gladiatorial arena. Alien spectators roared from the stands, and across the sand stood a monstrous creature, a chimera of various deadly species from across the galaxy. "To prove your worth," the voice boomed, "you must defeat the galactic apex predator. But remember, true strength comes in many forms." The creature charged, its multiple limbs and gnashing teeth promising a swift and brutal end. Alex dodged, her diplomatic training translating surprisingly well to physical combat. But she knew she couldn't outfight this beast. It was simply too strong, too fast. As she rolled away from another attack, inspiration struck. Alex began to move differently, her motions becoming a dance. She wove between the creature's strikes, her movements fluid and graceful. To her amazement, the beast began to mirror her, its aggressive lunges transforming into something almost beautiful. "We don't have to fight," Alex called out, continuing her dance. "There's harmony in our differences, strength in our diversity." The creature's eyes, previously filled with rage, softened. It lowered its weapons and bowed its head, acknowledging Alex's victory through understanding rather than violence. As the arena faded, Alex found herself once again in the void, breathless but exhilarated. "The trial of body is complete," the voice announced. "Now face the final challenge, the trial of soul." The void shifted one last time, and Alex found herself in a perfect replica of her childhood home on Earth. Every detail was exactly as she remembered it, down to the faint smell of her mother's cooking wafting from the kitchen. "Alexandra," a familiar voice called. She turned to see her parents, exactly as they had been years ago, smiling warmly at her. "We've missed you, sweetheart. Come home. Stay with us." Alex's heart ached with longing. How easy it would be to sink into this comfort, to forget the weight of her responsibilities and the strange new world she had entered. She took a step forward, then hesitated. "This isn't real," she said softly, tears streaming down her face. "And even if it were, I can't go back. I have to move forward for the sake of both our worlds." As she spoke the words, the illusion shattered. Alex found herself back in the grand hall of the Zephyrian palace, facing Queen Asalara. The gathered crowd watched in awed silence. "You have passed the trials, Alexandra of Earth." Solara's voice resonated with pride and something deeper, affection, perhaps even love. "You have proven yourself worthy not just of our offer, but of shaping the destiny of our peoples. What say you now to our proposal?" Alex stood tall, her experiences in the chambers of cosmic truth having transformed her in ways she was only beginning to understand. She looked out at the assembled humans and Zephyrians, seeing not aliens and diplomats, but fellow travelers in the grand cosmic journey. "Your Radiance," Alex began, her voice clear and strong. "I accept your offer, not just as your consort, but as a bridge between our worlds. Together, we will forge a future that celebrates our differences and unites us in our shared dreams of exploring the stars." A cheer erupted from the crowd, a harmonious blend of human voices and Zephyrian trills. Queen Solara's body shimmered with joy, her 6 eyes glowing with all the colors of the spectrum. As Alex took Solara's hand, or rather, one of her upper appendages, she knew that this was just the beginning. The path ahead would be challenging, filled with cultural clashes and interstellar political intrigue. But in that moment, as human and Zephyrian stood united, the future never looked brighter. The stars themselves seemed to shine more brilliantly, heralding the dawn of a new era for both civilizations, an era born from the courage of one woman who dared to dance between worlds. Starborn diplomacy. The news of Ambassador Alexandra Ree's unprecedented union with Queen Solara spread across the galaxy like a supernova, igniting a firestorm of reactions from both Earth and Zephyria. As the newly minted human Zephyrian royal couple, Alex and Solara found themselves at the center of a cosmic maelstrom, navigating the treacherous waters of interstellar politics with the fate of 2 civilizations hanging in the balance. Galactic Twitter is blowing up, Captain Jenna Torres reported, scrolling through her holopad as she paced Alex's new royal quarters. "Half the human population thinks you're a traitor, the other half wants to nominate you for some kind of intergalactic Nobel Peace Prize." Alex sighed, rubbing her temples. The iridescent robes of her new station still felt foreign on her skin. "And the Zephyrians?" "Mixed bag," Torres replied. "Some see it as a brilliant political move. Others," she trailed off, her expression grim. "Let me guess," Alex said. "They think their queen has been bewitched by a primitive alien." Torres nodded. "There's already talk of a purity faction forming among the more conservative elements of Zephyrian society." Before Alex could respond, the door to her chambers pulsed with bioluminescent light, the Zephyrian equivalent of a knock. "Enter," she called, still marveling at how the living architecture responded to her voice. Queen Solara glided in, her 6 eyes cycling through a spectrum of colors that Alex was slowly learning to interpret. Right now, they spoke of concern tinged with determination. "My starborn love," Solara's voice resonated in Alex's mind, a sensation she was gradually getting used to. "The High Council demands an audience. They question the wisdom of our union." Alex straightened, squaring her shoulders. "Then let's show them wisdom beyond their imagining." As they made their way to the council chambers, Alex couldn't help but reflect on the whirlwind of the past few weeks. The exhilaration of the bonding ceremony had given way to the harsh realities of interstellar politics. Every decision, every public appearance was scrutinized by billions across 2 worlds. The council chambers were a marvel of Zephyrian bioengineering, a vast spherical space that seemed to exist somewhere between physical reality and pure energy. The councillors, a diverse array of Zephyrian elders, floated on platforms of pulsating light, their bodies shimmering with barely contained agitation. "Your Radiance," the chief councillor's voice boomed, We mean no disrespect, but this union with a human threatens the very fabric of our society. How can we be sure this isn't some elaborate plot by Earth to infiltrate our highest levels of government? Alex felt a surge of indignation, but before she could speak, she felt a gentle pressure in her mind. Silara, urging caution. Honored counselors, Alex began, her voice steady. I stand before you not as a human, nor as a queen, but as a bridge between two great civilizations. I have glimpsed the vastness of Zephyrian knowledge, faced the trials of your most sacred chambers. My loyalty is not to Earth alone, but to the grand tapestry of life that connects us all across the cosmos. She paused, feeling the weight of that alien gazes upon her. Then, drawing upon her experiences in the chambers of cosmic truth, Alex did something unprecedented. She began to dance. Her movements were a fusion of human grace and Zephyrian fluidity, telling a story without words. As she danced, the chamber itself seemed to respond, the walls pulsing with light and color in tune with her movements. The counselors watched, transfixed, as Alex's dance spoke of the loneliness of two species reaching out across the vast emptiness of space, of the fear and wonder of first contact, and finally of the joy and potential of unity. As her dance reached its crescendo, Alex felt a familiar presence join her. Queen Silara, moved by the display, had joined the performance. Together, human and Zephyrian moved as one, their dance a living embodiment of the harmony they sought to create between their peoples. When at last they finished, the council chambers erupted in a chorus of trilling sounds, the Zephyrian equivalent of applause. The chief counselor's eyes had shifted to a deep, respectful purple. Never in all our cycles, the counselor said, have we witnessed such a profound demonstration of unity. Ambassador, no, Queen Alexandra, you have shown us the true potential of your union. We withdraw our objections. As the council dispersed, Alex felt a wave of relief wash over her, but she knew this was only the beginning of their challenges. An impressive performance, my love, Silara's voice whispered in her mind. But I fear we have greater trials ahead. Alex nodded, her expression resolute. The Purity faction. Yes, Silara confirmed. They gather strength even now. And there are complications on the frontier, reports of unusual activity near the disputed zones. Before Alex could inquire further, an urgent message flashed across the chamber's living walls. Alex gasped as she read the glowing Zephyrian script, her recently acquired knowledge of the language filling her with dread. A human war fleet, she breathed, approaching Zephyrian space. Silara's eyes flashed a dangerous red. It seems, my starborn queen, that your former people are not as accepting of our union as we had hoped. Alex's mind raced. Everything they had worked for, the fragile peace they had begun to build, now balanced on the edge of a knife. She thought of Earth, of the home she had left behind, and of the new life she had embraced among the stars. In that moment, Alexandra Reeves, diplomat, dancer, and now alien queen, knew that her greatest challenge was yet to come. The fate of two worlds rested in her hands, and the next moves in this cosmic chess game would determine the future of human-Zephyrian relations for generations to come. As alarms blared and the Zephyrian capital erupted into frenzied activity, Alex exchanged a look with Silara. No words were needed, spoken or telepathic. They were in this together, for better or worse. The stage was set for a confrontation that would echo across the galaxy, and at the heart of it all stood a most unlikely pair of leaders, a human woman and her alien queen, ready to fight for a future where the boundaries between worlds faded away like stardust in the cosmic wind. Cosmic crucible. The Zephyrian war room pulsed with nervous energy, its living walls flickering with real-time battle projections. Queen Alexandra stood at the center, her human features a stark contrast to the alien technologies surrounding her. Beside her, Queen Silara's 6 eyes darted between holographic displays, each one showing a different aspect of the approaching human armada. They're not responding to our hails, Alex said, her voice tight with tension. Whatever's driving this attack, they're not interested in talking. Solara's body shimmered with barely contained energy. Then we must make them listen, my starborn love. The fate of our worlds hangs in the balance. As if on cue, a new alert flashed across the main display. Alex's eyes widened as she read the Zephyrian script. No, she breathed. It can't be. What is it? Solara asked, sensing her consort's distress. Alex turned to face the assembled Zephyrian High Command, her expression grim. The fleet. It's being led by my ex-husband, Admiral Jason Reeves. A ripple of surprise passed through the alien officers. Solara's eyes cycled through a spectrum of colors before settling on a deep, concerned blue. This complicates matters, the alien queen said softly. Alex nodded, her mind racing. Jason was always ambitious, but this is madness. He's risking interstellar war. Perhaps that's exactly what he wants. Captain Torres chimed in from her position at the communications array. Think about it. Your marriage to Queen Solara shocked a lot of people back home. Some see it as a betrayal. Maybe the Admiral is using that sentiment to push for a more aggressive stance against the Zephyrians. Alex felt a chill run down her spine. It made a twisted kind of sense. Jason had always chafed at the slow pace of diplomacy, advocating for a more forceful approach to interstellar relations. Now, with public opinion inflamed by her unprecedented union with Solara, he had the perfect opportunity to push his agenda. We need to stop this before it goes too far, Alex said, her diplomatic training kicking in. If we can just get them to talk. Her words were cut off by a thunderous boom that shook the entire war room. Warning klaxons blared as new data flooded the displays. They've opened fire, shouted a Zephyrian tactical officer, his forearms working furiously over multiple control panels. The outer defense grid is under heavy bombardment. Solara's eyes flashed a dangerous red. We have no choice. We must defend ourselves. As the Zephyrian fleet moved to engage the human attackers, Alex felt torn between two worlds. Everything she had worked for, the delicate balance she and Solara had fought to create, was unraveling before her eyes. But as she watched the battle unfold on the holographic displays, a wild, desperate idea began to form in her mind. Solara, she said, turning to her alien wife, I need your fastest ship. The Zephyrian queen's eyes widened in surprise. You cannot mean tow. I have to try, Alex interrupted. If I can get aboard Jason's flagship, maybe I can talk some sense into him. It's our only shot at stopping this madness before it's too late. For a moment, Solara was silent, her alien features unreadable. Then, to Alex's surprise, she reached out and took her hand, intertwining her multiple fingers with Alex's 5 in a gesture of intimate support. Very well, Solara said, her voice resonating with a mixture of pride and concern. But you will not go alone, Captain Torres. The human officer snapped to attention. Yes, Your Radiance. You will accompany Queen Alexandra on this mission. Keep her safe, or answer to me. Torres nodded grimly. Understood, Your Radiance. As they raced towards the hangar bay, alarms blaring all around them, Alex felt a surge of determination. She had danced between worlds, passed the trials of the chambers of cosmic truth, and forged a union that spanned the stars. Now she faced her greatest challenge yet, stopping a war between the two halves of her heart. The sleek Zephyrian shuttle shot out of the hangar like a silver bullet, weaving through the chaos of the battle raging around them. Torres piloted with expert precision, dodging energy blasts and debris as they made their way towards the imposing bulk of the human flagship. As they approached, Alex keyed the communications array. This is Queen Alexandra Reeves of Zephyria, requesting immediate audience with Admiral Jason Reeves. Jason, I know you can hear me. We need to talk. For a heart-stopping moment, there was no response. Then the comm crackled to life. Well, came a familiar voice, dripping with sarcasm. If it isn't the traitor queen herself, come to beg for mercy, Alex. Alex steeled herself against the bitterness in Jason's tone. "I've come to stop you from making the biggest mistake of your life, and potentially dooming both our species in the process." There was a pause, and for a moment, Alex feared he would simply order his gunners to blast them out of the sky. But then, "Fine," Jason's voice was cold. "You have 5 minutes. Docking Bay 3. But if this is some kind of trick..." "It's not," Alex assured him. "I just want to talk." As Torres guided their shuttle into the human flagship's docking bay, Alex took a deep breath. Everything hinged on what happened next. She thought of Solara, of Earth, of the countless lives hanging in the balance. "Ready?" Torres asked as the docking clamps engaged. Alex nodded, her expression resolute. "Let's go save the galaxy." The docking bay doors hissed open, revealing a contingent of heavily armed human marines. And there, at their center, stood Admiral Jason Reeves, Alex's ex-husband, and now the greatest threat to interstellar peace. As Alex stepped off the shuttle, she felt the weight of 2 worlds on her shoulders. But she also felt something else, a strength born from the union of human determination and Zephyrian wisdom. Whatever happened next, she was ready to face it. The fate of Earth, Zephyria, and countless worlds beyond hung in the balance. And in that moment, as human faced human with the stars as their backdrop, the next chapter in the grand cosmic drama was about to unfold. Alex took a step forward, her voice clear and strong. "Hello, Jason. We need to talk about the future of humanity and our place among the stars." The universe held its breath, waiting to see if love could truly conquer the vast distances between worlds, both physical and ideological. The cosmic crucible had begun, and its outcome would reshape the galaxy forever.